Back in December 2019, after Shane and Jeffree's series ended, James Charles came to my LA home, and we compared DMs, texts, and stories about what had happened behind the scenes. We apologized to each other, forgave each other, and agreed to wait patiently until it was safe for me to share my story. Since that night, James Charles has repeatedly said that he wanted to be beside me for this video. But I felt it was important that I do it alone, because he deserves my first apology. And I am really sorry, James. And I've said that privately, but I want you to hear it publicly. I'm sorry. To provide some context, it's important for you to know that I love James Charles. He has a special place in my heart, and that never changed. Even when I was hurt, I was always more of a mentor than a friend to James Charles. I was someone he could lean on if he needed advice. He came into my life after he had sent me a tweet in 2016, and I met him in person for the first time at a Generation Beauty event in New York. Not long after that, his CoverGirl deal was made public, and he was off to the races. I was a proud friend, and I wanted nothing but good things for him. A few months later, he was a guest at my wedding, where he did my makeup for my wedding day. It's still my favorite memory of us, as it was a gift getting to know him before all of the success. James Charles has made his fair share of mistakes and has been in scandals. We all have, but I always believed in him, as he had a rare ability to improve himself through any situation. However, prior to the scandal last May, I'd started growing frustrated with what I perceived as a progressing sense of entitlement, and I felt that he was making some detrimental choices that could jeopardize his career and safety. None of my concerns became overwhelming until after I met Shane Dawson. When I made my video, I expressed my opinions about James Charles's behavior. I expressed how much a specific decision he made that I perceived as betrayal hurt me. I was very worried and heartbroken, but I did not lie in that video. I never called James Charles a predator, and I never said that James Charles was a danger to society. My video was not made with any malice. I did not publicly air any of the horrific accusations that were being made behind the scenes. While I was definitely upset that he had accepted a sponsorship from the biggest rival to my brand, Halo Beauty, I did not make my video because of vitamins. I made it as a result of all of the poisonous lies that were fed to me by Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star. James Charles's Sugar Bear Hair sponsorship and all of the drama that had kicked up afterwards, that was just my breaking point. Yes, I'm a grown woman. I'm smart. I can usually spot deceit and manipulation a mile away, but my guard was down from being heartbroken, and I allowed myself to be worked by Shane, Jeffree, and others. After my video went up, I was never served a lawsuit or any cease and desist letters. I only privated my video at the request of YouTube because YouTube said it was a bad look for their platform. James, I am so sorry that I allowed myself to be poisoned and weaponized against you. I'm sorry that I bought into any of their lies. Believing those lies and allowing myself to be gaslit into making that video is one of the biggest regrets of my life. I should have tried harder to reach you over those concerns in person, and I'm sorry for giving up on you. The information they were giving me was terrifying. I thought your career and freedom were in jeopardy. I was trying to get you to put your phone down and seek help because I was told there were a lot of victims that were going to come forward to destroy you. I was foolish for believing them. I was scared. I thought if I called you out, you would put your phone down and stop the detrimental behavior I was being made to believe was true. I should have known better than to fall for their lies and manipulation, but in the end, I failed. And instead, I allowed Shane and Jeffree to put a wedge between our friendship. It wasn't until 2017 that we started speaking. I knew that Jeffree had had a lot of drama in his past, but when he came to me, he presented himself as someone who had changed and was trying to be better. As time went on, I learned that being friends with Jeffree Star was like being friends with a lion. Yes, he may have been dangerous, but he was always really kind to me. I even tried to get him involved with my favorite charity. Diverting from script, P.S. I am going to be speaking on my real life. I have participated in this charity for years on end now, and I love their work. And I had it in my head that if I could pull Jeffree somehow into like being a role model or feeling like a role model, that could be really empowering to him. And when you empower someone to feel good about feeling good, it will help them change. My intentions with Jeffree were good, but I was a fool for thinking that I could ever help him become a better person. So the vast majority of our relationship was primarily by FaceTime, telephone, or texts. Sometimes weeks or months would go by without hearing anything from him, but I always heard from him when he was involved in drama or when he had a new launch about to happen. Though I recognized this pattern, any suspicion that I had of being used was clouded by the hope that he actually cared for me and that I was a positive influence in his life. As a result, I usually would take his snarky statements about others with a grain of salt. One thing that he did that did concern me a lot was how he would frequently comment about how much dirt he held on other brand owners and members of our YouTube community. I believe that he actually held blackmail material on many people and was capable of destroying the entire community. Back in 2019, Jeffree started talking a lot more crap about Jamescharles than usual. It seemed that doing so had become his biggest obsession. It started with him telling me right before filming our collab together for Jamescharles' channel that Jamescharles actually didn't want me there, that he had wanted Nikki tutorials instead, but said he had had my back. Things further escalated at my birthday. Every time Jamescharles' back was turned, Jeffree would tell me that Jamescharles was out of control. He even texted and called me the following morning to apologize for Jamescharles' behavior at my birthday dinner and how embarrassed he was for me. I initially dismissed it as jealousy because Jamescharles' career was on a rocket ship at the time, but as the weeks went by, every time I saw or spoke with Jeffree, it seemed to me that James was all he wanted to talk about. I even met with Jeffree in his Killer Merch offices in March to discuss Jeffree developing and managing my merch. And as we were touring his warehouse that was filled with sisters' apparel, it seemed that all he could do was speak poorly of Jamescharles. Over the next few weeks, Jeffree began talking to me about how Shane Dawson was a big fan of mine and wanted to meet me, and how I should be involved in their docuseries. Eventually, Shane reached out to me by text and started DMing me on Instagram. Shane said I was the queen of makeup reviews on YouTube, that I was his favorite beauty channel, and he wanted me to teach him all about makeup. I didn't know much about Shane Dawson. I knew that he was viewed as the king of YouTube, and he had done amazing series with Bunny, and I hadn't watched much of anything else other than Jake Paul series and of course the series with Jeffree. I wish I had researched him better. I wish I had watched his old videos. I wish I had educated myself and I was aware of his earlier content. All I knew at the time was that Shane Dawson was the most adored documentary filmmaker on YouTube. I thought to myself, why would Shane Dawson, the king of truth on YouTube, be turning against Jamescharles unless these things he was saying were true? Why would Shane sit in my home and spend so many hours telling me these horrific allegations if they were not true? Shane said that Jamescharles was a monster and that Jamescharles was hurting minors. Shane said he was planning to interview victims for the docuseries. He told me that something needed to be done to stop him from hurting more people. Over the course of the next few weeks, he and Jeffree fed me so much information that I felt sick. Almost every day, there was more information and new allegations. Eventually, I started believing what they were saying because they said they had evidence. Shane Dawson didn't just know about my Bye Sister video. He offered to help edit it, even offered to design the thumbnail and help title it. The night before posting my video Bye Sister, I texted Shane sharing my concerns for Jamescharles, that he was out of the country on the high floor of a hotel and I was afraid for him hurting himself. Shane texted me back and said that I should not be nervous about the 50th floor, that Jamescharles was a narcissist and that he would never do that. The day the video went up, Shane requested to come over to my home and film and document what was happening. I declined. After a few days of Jeffree fanning the flames on Twitter, no victims appeared as they had stated would happen, and no evidence came forward as they stated would happen. The last time I spoke with either Jeffree or Shane on the phone was the night before Jeffree's "Never Doing This Again" video, shortly after the relationship dissolved entirely.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Keep pressing play. I need to get through this video so I can fucking... Oh my god.
As a victim of abuse myself...
Oh my god. You are so manipulative.
To think of facing public...
You're fake crying. You are fake crying. You are fake crying. That is not real. Oh my god. 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 I was molested. I have been... Oh my god.